We've actually touched on this already when I talked about disseminating, so pitching it to your audience. So here you kind of take, playing a matchbox, creating rhythms, and you develop a story from there. You add expression, you give it characters. These characters start developing relationships, so it means something to the people watching. So what does this mean in terms of presenting your research in an academic piece of work like an essay? Because obviously someone who's marking your work is quite different from a member of the audience sitting in the theatre that's relaxing watching a show. There are similarities, however. So I would argue that, your audience, compare them to an academic. So they know your subject area, they might go to a theatre quite often, but they don't know what you have in store for them. So they don't know how you've interpreted their question. They set the question, here's a task, roll with it and see what you come up with. They don't know what you've done with your sources. So you need to lead them on the journey and hold their attention at every step of the way. Don't let them get lost. So with STOMP, had it not come together in terms of the costume, so they've gone for a very urban look, and that is, it all kind of comes together in terms of the way the artists move, the way they play their instruments. It's for attitude. It's not like a classical performance. If you say were to compare it to classical ballet, for example, it's very, very different. So the idea is everything comes together, so there isn't this kind of feeling of, wait a minute, why did they do that? That doesn't quite work, and it becomes really disjointed. You don't want your argument to be disjointed. You don't want your marker to get lost in your interpretation of the question and of the materials that you found. So when it comes to finally presenting your argument, that is not the experimental part of the process. The experimentation is what happens before you construct the argument.